Hey everybody, I'm Daniel from Spacedock, and I'm here to have a puerile rant about children's Star Wars toys. This is the Star Wars Rebels Hera Syndulla A-Wing toy that was released a couple of years ago, or 3 years ago or something, and it is the source of an extreme irritation for me that I hope exists in some other people as well, so that I'm not just a lunatic. This is the only way to get an A-Wing model or toy or representation that is in the configuration we see it in Star Wars Rebels, with the diagonal fins on the engines, and more particularly in Hera's awesome paint job here. I'd really like to have this for display purposes, but it has one big problem that really irritates me, and that is that it has a huge, garish plastic Nerf dart launcher stuck to the bottom of it that cannot be removed without a lot of messing about with glue and screwdrivers. Now, I realise that this is a toy aimed at 4 to 6 year olds or whatever, but it's quite substantial in size for a representation of this ship. There is no Eagle Moss series for Star Wars. There are Japanese models that are very expensive and hard to get hold of, and only of very popular ships. It is quite difficult to get representations of certain designs from Star Wars for display. And this is a nice, decent, large-sized A-Wing model in the style that I like from Rebels. And I won't purchase it because it has this giant dart launcher on the bottom, which means that it no longer represents the A-Wing. It looks completely different. It totally throws the space frame off, and I realise that I sound like a crazy person right now, but if you'll bear with me, I'm fairly certain that there are at least a few children out there who would be equally irritated by this, because this is representative of a larger issue that I think we see in children's TV and in children's toys in recent years, and that is this sort of inherent underestimation of children. What this toy is saying is that your child will not appreciate this design in the same way an adult appreciates it, for its aesthetics or for its creativity or its role in the story. They need to have a big dart launcher stuck to it so they can fiddle around with it and shoot it at things, otherwise they won't be entertained. And I think that's a gross underestimation of most children watching Star Wars. I think a child buys a toy A-Wing because they like the A-Wing, not because they want it to have a Nerf gun stuck to it. If they wanted that, they would buy a Nerf gun. And I think this kind of philosophy is just as apparent in modern children's TV. If we were to compare something like Star Wars Resistance, for instance, which I am quite enjoying, to something like the classic Jerry Anderson Thunderbirds or Captain Scarlet series, the level of tone and voice acting delivery and the sort of ratio of slapstick comedy to actual storytelling, etc., has been hugely changed in the last few years. Thunderbirds was a show cast with marionettes rescuing people from burning buildings, but its voice actors behaved like people who worked for a rescue agency and were in serious danger in a burning building trying to rescue people. The music was tense and dramatic. There was an actual sense of threat and an actual sense of accomplishment when they escaped that threat. Kaz from Star Wars Resistance can scarcely make it down a hallway without tripping over something or blowing a raspberry or whatever. It's unnecessary. I don't think children are this stupid, to be perfectly honest. I don't think they need a plastic dart gun on their A-Wing. I don't think they need Kaz to fall over 5 times before the scene ends. I think they can enjoy family-friendly science fiction for what it is. They can enjoy artistic designs for spacecraft and other creative elements for what they are. I mean, these kids have presumably seen Star Wars, right? So what's wrong with maintaining that level of maturity and action and threat? Now, I'm very curious if any of you Spacedock fans are yourselves raising a brood of future Spacedock fans. First of all, we appreciate your diligent service to the next generation of Spacedock viewers. But secondly, I'd encourage you, if they're of the right kind of age to have that kind of conversation, what do they think of this A-Wing toy? Would they appreciate it more if it was just representative of the ship as shown in Star Wars Rebels, because they are presumably a person who enjoys Star Wars Rebels? Now, I'm not mad. I'm going to imagine there are going to be quite a few children who like the fact that this has a dart gun on it, and that's fine. But I'm curious to see if there are any with the same mindset as me who would prefer this design as something they could play with and display that looked exactly like it's supposed to, exactly like it does in the show. Now, please do let me know in the comments below if you think I'm completely insane. This is Daniel from Spacedock, signing off. Thank you for watching Spacedock. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please do check out the links on the screen right now or in the description below for our Patreon and channel membership services. Anything you can pledge goes towards improving our team and our equipment and allowing us to put together bigger and more exciting video projects for you guys on the channel.